That's my camera, right? Welcome to Sound Tank, a moment that we're waiting for. Anticipation is over now. My name is Jerome Williams. I'm going to be a host. Welcome to the show where sports can resonate with everyone and we can unite in sport. So tonight I'm bringing my first show, our show, the community show, where we're going to be the voice of the community and be the voice of the voiceless people. Let me just give you a recap about the show. The show started with something that it enlightened me like a light to be the voice for the people, to speak for the people, for the community, and for the sports people, and the stories that never been told. This is going to be the platform. And our guest, wow, I don't even know where to start. Uh, just the introduction, I'll leave over to him. Mr. Gerwyn Alexander, welcome to the show. What an honor.
Yeah, Jerome, thank you for inviting me. It's quite a privilege, and it's not something that I take lightly. I am Gerwyn Alexander, originally from Victoria West in the Karoo. Now, some people will not know where that that place is. It's quite small, but nonetheless, it's a place with deep history, especially when it comes to sports. And yeah, I'm one of those products that came through that background. And it's like I said, it's an honor and a privilege to be here tonight.
Thank you, sir. I think probably that's one of the things that attract me to you. Coming from a town like that, or what people say is disadvantage, than where you are. And nevertheless, let me say, he's a qualified level three coach. And to be correct, you can coach international teams, right?
Yeah, that's that's unfortunately, I say unfortunately, the qualification that only allow a few chosen people to actually be qualified. As much as I qualified to be at that level, it doesn't mean that you actually are privileged to coach at that level. But that's a discussion for another day. Yeah, I'm a community coach. Everything I do is for my community. Um, so yeah, for me the biggest thing is to bring players through where you played a very big role in not just changing the rugby skills or the rugby outcomes for that player, but also changing hopefully the situation in his life, whether it's just teaching him some a simple thing like life skills to make him a better person. That's enough for me as a coach. Rugby is just a tool. Yeah, I agree with you fully with regards to the role that we must play as coaches in the community, uplifting our community. There are so many challenges that people face, especially the young people in our communities. And I still feel that sport, in any form or sense, do have a role to play in changing people's perception of life, first of all, and the way they think about life, and obviously setting themselves some goals and achieve those goals. And to me, it's nice to hear that the player made it from a so-called previously disadvantaged area, much more than a player that obviously made it with all the bells and whistles as a child. But yeah, so that's what I'm about. I also coach professionally for a long time. I had the privilege of also working full time in rugby as an administrator. For 12 years, I was employed by the rugby union called Griquas, then Kimberley. And I wasn't supposed to coach, but my passion is in coaching, so I continued coaching all the time while I was working there as well. And I had the privilege. The other day I was checking my CV, and I had actually the privilege of coaching all the Griqua teams from under 13, under 16. Under 17, I was a team manager. There was at some stage under 17 tournament as well. I coached the under 18 academy teams. I coached the Craven Week under 18. And then beyond that, I coached under 19s, under 21, which I coached. That's the last team I coached at Greek was. But before came back to the under 21s, I coached what they call the Merit A side, which was like the B teams of the Curry Cup side. And then I also coached at Curry Cup and Vodacom Cup level. So I actually coach all the teams at Greek Holland. Oh, and the sevens. I coach one year. I coach also the Greek Holland sevens team. So I never coach female rugby at Greek was or at any other union, but all the male teams I actually had the privilege of coaching over a span of, let's call it 18 years, because I also coached before I worked there full time. I worked there full time for 12 years. So yeah, it's not about a CV; it's about experiences that I had the opportunity to go through, and every experience obviously teaches you something, and it makes you a richer person or a richer coach. So yeah, I'm what they would say a utopia with a lot of experience or a lot of miles on the clock. But yeah, but my heart actually lies with development, with getting that talent and changing that talent into something elite, something proper, something that can sell. So that's a challenge for me.
One, two. Yes.
1-2.
Welcome back. Welcome back. After lovely break, I need to consume after all the wisdom and knowledge that Mr. Gowan just shared with us. So Gowan, I think one of the reasons for the show is like such stories like Mr. Gowan and people in the community like they've never been told. This is the show we can hear them first. We are for the community and we speak for the community. So I'm going to allow Mr. Gowan to talk more about himself. Mr. Gowan, I think let's start. You also Vodacom Cup champion, coach, right?
Yeah, that's right. I have the privilege. I had the privilege of coaching at the Hodacom Cup level in 2005, 2004 roundabout. And yeah, with the Griqualand West Rugby Union, we were the champions that year. So I was assistant coach, backline coach to the Wilder Klaver Griquas. So yeah, and we were the champions that year. But in that span of, was it like 3, 4 years? No, in 5 years, in the span of 5 years, since 2005, I actually had the privilege of being involved with teams that were national champs. In that 5 years, we were national champs 3 times. So with the under 21 team, that's actually the team where I had my best years. I was there 6 years coaching, and out of the 6 years, we won the national league 3 times, and 2 times we played in the semi-final. And the one year we actually 2010 when it was a soccer World Cup, we ended up second to last. So yeah, there's also reasons for that. But I had a very good run with the under 21 team. Like I said, in the 6 years that I was involved, I played in two semi-finals as well as being the champions for 3 years um, in that span of 5 years that I was there. Yeah, and Vodacom Cup we won just before I went to the under 21s. Yeah, and I also had the privilege to coaching when I came to SWD 2 years ago. In 2022, I was appointed under 21 as well as under 20 head coach at the SWD Eagles. And with the under 21s, we also reached the semifinals of that competition that year. And the year after that, I was that's now last year, 2023. I was involved as a backline coach at the Crusaders Rugby Club in George. And as you might have known or might know, we ended being the fourth best club rugby team in the country. So that's actually one of the proudest things for me because it's a community club with community club problems. So it's not so much that you have when you're coaching at senior provincial level. Sometimes it's about what the union have that makes you a successful team or not. Unions as a If some of the unions have all the money, all the best players contracted to the union, and it's just much easier to operate in that space. But when you're at a small union like Griquas, your SWDs, your EP Kings, Border, Boland, it's a totally different ball game. So you as a coach really need to show your mettle to make the most for your players. You get also players that have all the talent, but it's a diamond in the rough. You still have to work a lot with that player to get him to a level where he can compete with guys that were in a professional, semi-professional setup since after school or even since they are at high school. I'm talking about jump programs and all those things, and um, putting on being put on proper nutritional programs, all this, and you just get a guy from some location, so to speak, some community, and the guy's got all the talent, but it's not the finished product. And you as a coach that comes from that type of communities are the best guy to unearth that type of talent because you understand where that guy comes from. And yeah, that's the thing that I think I could use as a weapon that other coaches might not have had. That's why I was talking at tongue in cheek, sort of, with regards to qualifications, because it's not just about qualifications, it's about what you do with that qualification. I'm also a coach's educator. which means I am licensed to conduct level one, level two coaching courses for the IRP or World Rugby as they're called now. And one of the things that I always tell people when they come to my courses that I conduct is no use being a coach accredited with a level two, but you operate like a level zero. The stuff that you get taught in those courses, you must go back and implement that stuff in your daily coaching. Otherwise, that course would will do nothing to enhance your coaching. So that's the thing with us coming from a disadvantaged background, that when you get an opportunity to better yourself, grab it with both hands. But don't just grab it for yourself. Also try to empower the others that did not get the opportunities that you have. And I think that's what I'm trying to get to now. In the olden days, that you are less competitive, you try to empower people, because we're not going to stay on this earth forever, and we can't take the knowledge that we acquired here, take it with us. We need to put back into someone else so that chain can just keep going.
Coach Gowan. Coach
That's a
G.
mouthful, eh?
Coach G. Coach G. That's
Yeah,
why we have people like you in our community. That's why we have this show. To change the narrative.
yeah,
To close down that gap. To utilize our skills and use guys like you to make an example. To bring that experience. You can't sit here and complain about but not doing anything about it. That's why I raise my hand. I want to do something about it. Not me, but I'm raising my hand. We need more leaders. We have a lot of followers in our youth.
yeah,
We're complaining about we don't have data, which is like, data is not a problem.
yeah. For
Those are
every problem, there's a
there's a
solution.
solution.
There's a
So
solution.
what are
We
we gonna
just need
do
to get
about
to
it?
that solution. And I was saying, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And I still believe in that, because even people that's just sitting around the problem, they're part of the problem. Whether they are actively involved in the problem or just sitting there as a witness to the problem, they are part of the problem. So if they roll up their sleeves and they get involved with achieving the solution, then I can say you are not part of the problem anymore.
So that's why this is the platform where we solve those problems. Not a problem, it's actually a challenge. And with a challenge comes a solution. So it opens up opportunities, new opportunities to change the narrative. So we can tell better stories. We want to reach out to more people like Coach Gerwyn Alexander. Come forward, come with solutions. Let's solve the problems. We know we have differences, but we have a lot in common, which is sport and which can change life. So let's be the voice for that kid that can't speak for himself. So we have all the solution, but no one wants to stand up and come up with a solution. So you'd rather sit there and judge and show fingers. You're also part of the problem. Become the solution. Can you agree more, Coach G?
Yeah, that's basically the history that I can think of tonight with regards to my rugby background, as to say. But I'm also very religious a person, or not religious, churchy religious. But
No, no, no. Feel free, feel free, feel
yeah,
free. Give me more.
I was quite very deeply involved with church stuff for a while. And then yeah, and the other side to me is I love music. I used to be a DJ, used to be a music producer, sort of. And yeah, there's the stuff that keeps me grounded and keeps me busy. And then I'm a full-time teacher currently at the Vryzig Primary School here in Neisner in Only. So I've been a teacher there for 2 years now. So yeah, I'm here to stay, I suppose. So yeah, that's the basically the background of me, of myself. And yeah, and I'm here to serve. I'm here to serve. It's not always possible to be everything to everybody. Each one has got his own let me call it my blessing, sort of, that God entrusted you with, a gift. And I think my gift is rugby. So yeah, I'm trying my best to change life for the responsibility of the gift. So yeah, that's me. That's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Coach G. And the reason why I ask about his past is to show us that we're sitting with gold. We're sitting with people that are highly qualified. People less than him are coaching at provincial level. international level while we have people like him among our community. But the challenge is we don't have the infrastructure. We've been set up like that.
Yeah,
Because,
that's
gee, if we
true.
want to go and play rugby now outside, there's no light
Yes.
or the grass is not being cut. So we need to revolve that. And I just want to make an emphasis about unions being involved into community sports. I had the privilege to play in Cape Town. Let me tell you, it's a different kind of setup, probably the best setup ever. The
But
involvement.
I'm a firm believer of you start with what you have, um, and yeah, talent cannot be denied. That I've proved in my community, and it will sound like bragging now, but it's the truth is the truth. I had a player coming from my school. For instance, he played international rugby. Rugby is a sport where you need to have proper facilities. It's not like soccer. We just need a open space and whatever. Rugby needs to be played in a. And my school didn't, or even my whole hometown. There's no proper facilities. But at that same moment that there was no proper facilities, that boy came through the system and he played. He played at international level. He played at South African under 19. He played SA schools, and he was at a normal so-called um, community school. Yeah, it was filter that one. I want to say colored school, but that's basically. So he was at a community school, but he still competed with guys that were at schools at much more privileges for that guy to be the best. But he still overcame his challenges and he made it to the top. Um, at that time, when I was also being a teacher in my own small town or my own hometown, we were also regarded as the best non-model C school. Non-model C school with regards to how many players we had in the Griqua, which is our union in our Griqua structures. And when I left that school in a span of I think 4 or 5 years that I was coaching there, we had like 65 guys playing provincial rugby, which is unfounded. It's like you won't see it again. Luckily, those years we had a very strict transformation policies in rugby, so guys were given opportunities with the so-called dreaded or the dreaded so-called quota system, but guys got opportunities to play, and we made use of that initiatives. And like I said, at the end of the day, my school was one of the schools with the most players. They delivered the most players of all the non-Model C schools. Why I say non-Model C? Because they had all the differences or the legacy of our history was quite rife. When you looked at schools in town and schools in the township. So that's a township school I'm talking about. But we could compete against the schools in much more privileged areas. And it all starts with you. It all starts with a mindset, with a mentality of I'm not. Uh, 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 I'm previously disadvantaged, but I'm not. Uh, uh, um, Wat is agtergeblewe nou? Sien jy daar gaan die bundles. Maar but
Om
I'm
Afrikaans is
ja, ek
welkom,
is nie
ja.
agtergeblewe nie. Ek is
Afrikaans is
ek is
welkom,
ek
ja.
is benadeel, maar ek is nie agtergeblewe nie. Agtergeblewenheid is 'n shame tipe situasie. Jy wag vir iemand om jou te kom save.
Handout.
No, we're waiting for handouts, and that's not. I explicitly fought that policy because it was also policy. It's not just a way of thinking. Development would look like this. They would come to your township and they would hand out T-shirts
Sorry,
and
coach.
balls and
Sorry, coach, but
things like
that's a scam.
yeah. That's the thing.
That's a
We
scam.
didn't.
Let's be honest about it.
Yes,
It's a
we
scam.
didn't buy into that
It's
scam
a scam.
because how can you develop 100 guys in the afternoon? It's impossible. That's a marketing ploy. So unfortunately, in the beginning of rugby development, that's how rugby development looked like. Or luckily for us, we saw that we needed to get our players to elite level, so we put structures at our school in place where we would focus on, especially becoming a father to the children. We looked holistically at players. Okay, so if we had a father figure in his life, then at least he has the right direction. And when we started looking at that type of scenario where we would rather have a family set up in our schools with regards to rugby coaching, then we change the whole narrative because then the child would have proper, what you call it now. Let me put it like this: he would think on a different level, and that changed the whole thing for us. That's why we, as a very poor community in Victoria West and a very disadvantaged community, had the successes that we had because the players got the opportunity to think on a different level, and that made a difference.
Coach, if I may ask, you raise all the challenges, but how do we change that?
Yeah, like I said, it all depends on the individual itself. If you don't change your mind, you can't change anything. I mean, the situation can change. Doesn't matter how it change. If you're still the same person inside your mind, you will come back to the same result at the end of the day. It will just take you longer, but you'll come to. I mean, we see that with guys winning lottery money. 2 years down the line, is even more poor than he was before that money because his mindset did never changed. And unfortunately, we're going back to that. In the last few years, as a coach, I've seen that a lot in our club players. That players do not, the hunger is not there anymore because some of the players, unfortunately, due to transformation initiatives, got through the whole thing very easily. And I'm saying a very controversial thing now. They went through the system quite easily, being selected, and then they don't get the focus is not on changing their life or changing the person from the inside. Then they go to these big unions, but they still remain a small minded player, and then they don't make it at that unions. They come back and they still remain the same. They don't understand even what happened to them, why they didn't make it. With all the talent, but since the mindset never changed, they can't really compete with players that are brought up different, to be quite honest. And that is I think, still the challenge today, that we need to tell our players or teach our players to get that hunger, to stay that, to stay that, to stay the course of the whole thing because although we make it sometimes, we 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 don't make it, we're not there really. And the players I don't want to call names now out, but I had a few
We're
players
gonna
that
get
played
there.
international level that
We're
came
gonna
through.
get there.
That that played for me, and I can tell you that the biggest difference for me as a coach working with that players when he was still not that player that he became, the difference was the hunger, the thirst for that success, and buying into the program of the coach, not getting big headed before his time. Because for every level that you reach, like they say, there's a new devil. If you make money, then money becomes the problem at the end of the day. If you become famous, and famous becomes although you strive for those things, then those things sometimes are the biggest problem to you because you are not taught how to deal with that type of challenges. And that's why I say if we can start changing the view and the way our players think about themselves as a human being first, then they must realize that this sport they're playing is just a vehicle for them to become a better person. Then they will be a better player. Because sometimes we have great players, but they're bad persons over the field, and then at some stage it just gets up with you.
But do you also believe it's to do with the community around because you try to be a better person, go out, be the best sportsman you can be, but you're still coming back to the challenges that you have. You're still passing the guys or the life that you're trying to run away with. And I also believe it comes from a support system. If you don't have a support system, somebody's gonna count on you. You're still gonna go back to those guys which you've been running with because you know that space
Yeah.
and the other space is unknown. It's just a human habit or
I
is
think that the
or
biggest
bad
challenge,
habit.
Jerome, the biggest challenge with that is that our children must realize it's like analyzing a problem. You must realize what the problem is, first of all. You must realize that maybe the friends that you're hanging out with, why is friend one not making it in life? And that can only be changed when you start seeing what we do not have a lot of in our communities. Getting yourself a proper role model. Either it's a sports person or it's a religious guy, whatever. Somebody just sort of on the right way.
Or Coach G.
Yeah. Please, no. No, I'm not nobody's role model. I'm just the guy that they can show you the way. I'm not the way. I can show you where's the
Okay,
way.
wisdom.
No, 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 yeah. So please, guys, get yourself a role model, somebody that you can emulate. And there is a few role models in your community, whether it's a business person or it's a, it's a, it's a, like I say, a religious person, even a teacher, somebody that you know that are trying to stay on like we say, the narrow road. And sometimes just by putting yourself, they have this saying where they say, surround yourself with people that suits your future. So that's the easiest way to understand it. If you want your future, if you want to see your future, see the people that are around you, because in 10 years time those people will be still around you, if you choose to. So role models to me is not as easy as I say it, but role models is the most important thing, I think, that can change a child's life, coming from that community. I have a friend in Kimberley. It's nothing to do with sport. Yo, he comes from a very rough area in Kimberley. Yeah, but that guy is the kindest person that I know. When we were like close, when we were still young men, and I used to DJ. We used to DJ together, and he was the most disciplined DJ I ever know. And DJ is also about being famous, sort of, there in the community. So you can lose your mind there as well, and do funny things. But that guy was so disciplined, and luckily I had him as a friend, so I never was tempted to do funny things, because you know what happening in nightclubs. And I just was, for me, it was all about the skills of being a DJ, and focusing on making the best of this situation, or this passion that we have. We would go into um, the skills thing, wanting to mix and scratch and rap and all those things. And he was like totally showing me the way. I didn't see it that time as that, but today I can say, yeah, if it wasn't for him, I would have been, maybe would have gone into something else. But luckily, rugby came afterwards, where I really took rugby seriously. But that was my first passion, music. And just it's not about the environment. That guy came from like very uncomfortable situations, but he's still, up until today, he's one of my friends, and he's a very nice guy. So it depends where. An Afrikaans sê hulle blom waar jy geplant is. So it's not where you are. It is what you can bring to the table in that situation. But to return to what you said, I think the main thing for any talented player, whether it's now a rugby player or music, keyboard player, whatever, get yourself positive role models around you, because that's the difference. Because quite honestly, you are bombarded with negativity. If you put on social media, it's just about negative things, it's negative trends, negative. So get yourself some positive people that can show you the way.
Finance through all in-house finance services. That is it for us today on the Polo TSI, Polo Life and Polo Online range. Thank you for watching. How's it guys? Edward here from VW Advisor, and today we're going to tell you a little bit about our polos. Okay, so over here you have the Polo Life. Our polos come in three different ranges. So obviously you have got your entry level, which is the Polo TSI. After that you get the Polo Life, and then you get the Polo R line, which is the top of the range. We're not going to speak about the Polo GTI today, so for now let's just have a look at the Polo Life. So, since this being the month of love, We're here to help you fall in love with this new polo. Have a look on the inside. Thanks for coming a little bit closer. If you have a look on the inside of this vehicle, got an infotainment system with a beautiful multifunction steering wheel. Now the Polo comes with a nice array of extras, like for example, you got a rear view camera and park distance control. So your Polo comes standard with a 351 litre boot space, that's standard across the range, which is perfect for the weekend away, or if you're just going to be quickly jumping to the shop to do your weekend or your monthly grocery shopping. So in closing, you can get this vehicle, this Polo over here, starting at 350,000 Rand if you want to go cash route, or from 5,999 a month. If you go finance, through our in-house finance services. That is it for us today on the Polo TSI, Polo Light and Polo R-Line range. Thank you for watching.
Why is involved in the community? He's the current head coach of Ireland United since the go.
Yes.
How did you get to the club? Then you went to How far are you in the club now?
Okay, the thing is this, guys. I've been interested in coaching at Nice now, obviously, for obvious reasons, because when you work in a community, you want to be involved there. But unfortunately, even before I came to this area, already had conversations with certain clubs that wanted my services. So when I landed here 2 years ago, I actually went to coach at Jaguars in Craigs. But unfortunately, I was also appointed under 21 coach for the SWD Eagles, which unfortunately do not permit me to be involved in any club. So I had to cut that short there. So I only was there for 2 months. So I wasn't coaching at club level for that or club at any club there for that year. Last year I was approached by um, Crusaders Rugby Club to get involved with them. I also had talks with them even before I came here. I think I was talks to coach Crusaders Rugby Club started in 2018 when I met online for that met Coach Tuta, Ricardo Bierkes. We met on Facebook and then we just started sharing stuff and so forth. So he wanted me here. So when I came here, but unfortunately, like I said, I chose to went to go to Craig's. All right. So then I was also approached by a few people from NISA to coach at this club. But as you all know, once you're involved with one club, you can't really get involved with another one as well at the same time. So the time was right when they were advertising last year for a coach, and I applied and I got the job. So that's where I'm coaching now in Naisna itself. So yeah, that's how I got involved with the Naisna United Rugby Club. Um, the Naisna Rugby Club is currently playing in what I would call a second division. They call it I think the first or something division, but it's like the second division. And obviously, our main purpose is to get to the top level. Like I mean, clubs like Sedgefield, it's our neighbors, Craigs on the other side also. At some stage, the means and the abilities to get to the top club and to the top league, and I don't see why we can't do it. So just on that on that on the merit of that argument, I think we have the ability to get there, but we didn't yet. So that is the challenge. And for me, my main purpose of being in the club is getting us there. But we need the buy-in of everyone. And if I say everyone, I mean the buy-in of the community, the buy-in of business people, because you can't really play at that level without the resources that you need. As I said earlier on, it's all about the resources when you want to be successful in rugby, because rugby is a very particular sport where resources are very, very important for you to get to your goals, especially when you're aiming high. And the talent, the raw talent, is there. There's a lot of challenges getting the guys fit because I only started in January, so I didn't have the privilege like other coaches of having an off season. So we're starting now with the preseason. We started on the 10th, I think, around about the 12th ish. 10, no, it was the 17th of January. Around about there, we had our first practice. So yeah, then we already started late, and now within the next month or so, to be honest, I think it's around about the 23rd ish. We will be having our first pre-season practice game. I think it's going to be in Pito. So that then we will start playing rugby, and we want to extend a warm invitation to everybody to come and support us. We need you there by the field. We need those voices shouting in one accord for Naisna, because we have big dreams this year. But dreams is just dreams. You have to work on it to make it your reality, and that's our plan this year. But we can't do it without you. Rugby is a community sport based on support. I mean, you can be the best club, but you won't really come far without the loyal support of the community and of your loyal fans. Yeah, so there's a plan for Nice Time United. We still have a few challenges, especially with regards to kit and equipment. So sponsors, please get on board. We really want to carry the brand that you have to take it to other places where we play. We play quite wide. We envisage that we will play plus minus, and I'm speaking roughly now around about 18 games this year. So if we can carry your brand on our clothes, and you can take people we will be a vehicle for your company to be better known as, and we will be good ambassadors for your brand, your business brand. So please get involved.
Problems. You good? I believe there are contact details of Neisner United Club. It's on Facebook, so all the contact details there. So inviting businesses to get involved in the community. I think they're also sharing the games and the upcoming games and the fixtures on the page.
And also, just stop any news about the club. Is on the page. Please get involved, right? Because we really, that is a nightmare team. It's not representing certain part of the community. Even players that currently playing outside of national, right now we are really urging you guys to get involved with the club. No need to go to other towns club to be
While we're playing rugby, coach, I want to ask you, if I want to play rugby, how do I prepare myself to play rugby?
all right. Normally you will have like a year plan, seasonal plan. Must know where you are in your plan. So currently we at night now you pre-season. Now in a pre-season, let me start with the off-season. We don't really have the off-season focuses mainly on building your power base, meaning you need to get stronger, you need to get bigger, right? And we're also focusing on stamina. So those are the two blocks that you build your fitness on for rugby. Those things, it's like in the olden days you would run on the road forever. It's your stamina, and then you would come and you will gym with heavy weights just to make your muscles bigger. So that's what you do. You can't do those things while you are playing rugby. So they don't work in season. You need to
Okay.
do that because your muscles are actually growing when you're resting. It's not when you're gymming you get stronger muscles. It's when your body repairs itself, then the muscles grow. So that's something to think about, right? So I normally tell my players, you work hard, but you rest hard as well, because in the rest phase is where your muscles grow when you get strong. whole week and they could dance all night on Friday night. It's the time to rest. Then you get into the preseason, and my preseason basically focus on three areas. I'll focus on my speed development because rugby is a game of speed. So we'll work on the speed mechanics, how to lift your legs up when you run, use your arms when you run. If you don't get guys that swim when they run, that type of thing. So I'll do a lot of mechanical work, and then also look at other thing we're looking at is we call explosive power. Because rugby is explosive game. Every movement that you do in rugby is a quick movement, it's an explosive movement. It's like putting your hand up and pushing a guy on. He needs to be quickly and fast. And there's a lot of explosive movement. So the explosives conditioning will be more like plyometric practice exercises. They do a lot of jumps, for instance, and a lot of explosive movement. If you do the gym work in that phase, it will be with lighter weights, but we will do quick actions with that weights. I like to use rubber bands in that phase of conditioning because it's game related. But you do functional training, you do the actual thing that you will do on the field, but you just do it as an exercise with the rubber band because it's more flexible than doing it with heavy weights and so forth. And weights doing functional stuff is actually not even impossible, but it will hurt you because you
Mm-hmm.
can't pass a rugby ball with the weights. You
Mm-hmm.
can't learn to pass hard with the rugby ball while using weights. So we will use like pass developers, which is a heavy ball, medicine type of ball,
Yes.
that type of thing to get that explosive thing. And the last thing that we um, condition in our preseason is what we call the anaerobic system, which is a stop and go system. Is your body needs to stop, play, stop, play. So you need to practice how you want to go play. So there's the five things that I focus on. There's obviously more things like stability training, and
Mm-hmm.
there's things like flexibility training, but there's just spin-off of what you already do. But those five things are my core fitness components that I look at as a rugby player in your pre and your off season. And then when you get into in season, you just maintain your levels. You don't work as hard on fitness, but you work more fitness game related wise. So that's my 2 cents.
It actually makes sense, coach. Now I can see why rugby guys are working in a certain way and jogging, having the rugby jog. That's what the ladies are shouting at. Now it makes sense, but it's also elements that also contributing like nutrition.
Yeah, nutrition in the last few years became a very huge and a very huge industry. So you must be careful what you use nutritional wise. I mean, look what happened after Elton John. I don't say nothing about it. I'm just saying
Mm.
sometimes guys use nutritional things and they don't know what's really in those products because remember the guy that's making the product is selling the product to make money. So
Yes.
that's the bottom line. So be careful what you use. Don't take shortcuts. Um, Rugby or fitness for that sake is a lifestyle. It's not
Coach, sorry to interrupt you. My producer just informed me now we're having challenges. Unfortunately, we're gonna have load shedding in the next 40 seconds. But I want to end with a positive note. We have Sound Tank this coming weekend, this coming Wednesday. Sorry, and the guest will be Tokyo, South Africa. Thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Jerome Williams. I'm your host of the Sport Tank. Keep well and keep safe. God bless. Thank you, Mr. G. Mr. G, my G.